Hey guys, welcome back. I got another unboxing for you today, and it's a gun. I'm really excited about it. Looking at this box, you wouldn't really know what it is, but it's the Beta Project Tactical AK with a bunch of Magpul stuff on it. I saw it on e-bike and it was a great deal, and I thought it'd be an awesome loadout to run with a contractor AK. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so since the box doesn't tell you much, you gotta go inside to find out. All you get is this little label on the side here. That's about the only clue as to what's inside. But it's got a really cool look, all this like recycled looking material printed. You got your breakdown kit, the explosion diagram, and just basic operation like fire selector, battery installation, hop up, all that stuff. Pretty much stuff everybody is familiar with. What I saw on the website is I thought it came with a plastic birdcage flash hider, and then it included a black AK flash hider, but looks like mine came with a spare pistol grip, the saw style, and it has the AK style already installed, and it comes with its one mid-cap magazine. So this is the saw grip. Let's see. Let's get the installation hardware and the grip itself. Pretty much what you'd expect. I think I'm going to keep the AK grip because I like that smaller, thinner grip. I don't think I'll be a big fan of this grip, but I might try it out just to see how it feels and then make up my mind. Then we got our mid-cap magazine. Everything's really nicely packaged. I mean, look at all this foam, it's well protected. And I like the fact that it's a mid-cap because I'm a mid-cap runner, and it's nice that they include a mid-cap instead of a high-cap, so it's one less magazine for me to buy. And of course, the gun itself. Let's get it out. And also there's a cleaning rod. Alright. So, this thing is pretty awesome looking. I mean, it's an AK really by very few leftovers from the original AK. Obviously it's been very modernized with the color itself, this crazy quad rail on the front, this Magpul buttstock out here, this two-sided charging handle. It's got a mini connector on here for a stick battery, but I did manage to shove a LiPo in here, a little square LiPo, but it's not easy. So I probably would recommend a stick battery just to make your life that much easier when putting the battery in. I really like this because I'm a fan of the AK, but I'm not a fan of how kind of old it is. You have nowhere to put a grip, nowhere to put an optic or a light or any of that stuff. You're pretty much stuck with iron sights and a bunch of wood furniture. So this kind of solved that issue. What I don't like is everything's out front. If you want to put an optic, it's going here, a light, grip. It's already front heavy because of this quad rail system on the front, and when you start adding accessories to it, it's just going to become very front heavy. It's all full metal, so it's heavy to start with, and all you're doing is making it heavier with all this stuff. So I know for sure I'm going to attempt to put a rail back here. That's my one mod I've already got planned for it. This flash hider is some kind of orange. It's like having a pumpkin on the front of your gun, so that needs to go. And the dual charging handle, of course, that would have real application, real life, making for quicker chambering, but on an airsoft gun, that's just more stuff to get snagged on your gear. So there's a few downsides to this gun as it stands now, but some of this stuff can be corrected, and some of it's just part of the AK appeal. Another thing I want to mention are these magazines. Obviously, they don't look like your standard AK mags. They're a lot straighter, and they're see-through, so you can see your BBs feeding, and they also have these plates down here. And if you're wondering, they are interchangeable with the standard Ranger plates. So I'll pop this off and I'll show you how it fits on this AK. Push that in, pop it out, do the same here, and then just reverse the process. So that's pretty awesome. That's definitely something you've never seen on an AK. while we're on the magazines, loading AKs is just, this is the part that no one ever talks about when they compare AKs to M4s. An M4, it's you grab the mag, you shove it in, and you're done. With an AK, it's a 3-step process. Get it in there, first of all, get it gripped on the proper lip, and then rock it into place. There's like a million things that could go wrong with this while you're reloading in combat. You shove it up too far, you're gonna have this, and you probably yank on it while you're in the game and snap off the lip on the magazine, making it utterly useless. Or you could come into shallow, and then you could be doing this, trying to get it in there, but it's not really catching on the lip. It looks like it's inside, but it's not. So that I hate about AKs, the reloading part. But also that's part of the appeal of the AK. However, if you're just looking for speed and you're trying to make for quick reloads, this is not a good option. So let's take it out, shoot it, and see how it does at the chrono. Alright you guys, well we shot it, reloaded it, kind of ran it through its paces, and I gotta say I'm liking it a lot. It feels really good in the hand. It's really easy to point and shoot, especially with the EOTech on here. That really helps. I don't like it that it crowns at 420 FPS. I know that's a big sales thing for the companies, but I don't know who that really appeals to, because in every field I play, and I'm in Southern California, so I have like 5-6 fields around me. It's 350 indoor, 400 outdoor for full auto. So this has really no use for me at the moment. So the second I get out of the box, I have to do something to it. I'm running a velocity reducer on here, which is getting me down below 350, but I think it's actually interfering with my hop up. I really wish it would come under 400, since for a full auto gun, there's really no need for more than that. Everything else is really nice. It feeds really well. There's either full auto or semi-auto, these mid caps. I got 2 of them now. It's plenty for me to just run with 2 because they're very high capacity. It's fairly well balanced. It was a little front heavy. I moved the optic to the back, batteries back here, so that balances it a little bit. I'm thinking of maybe rewiring to the stock, to the buffer tube. As you can see, I got my WML flashlight on here, top activated. I got a MOE Magpul grip on the front here, and I added kind of a homemade bungee sling here with some zip ties and a leftover hook I had. I also have this rubber band, and that's because when I put the LiPo in here, the charging handle cannot move, and the spring that pushes back this button that holds the cover on is kind of jammed up, so it's not really doing its job. So there's a possibility the cover could fly off in the middle of the game. This is one way to ensure it's staying on. I've added the rail on top here. Let me see if I can take the EOTech off, show you that. This came off a MP5, one of those claw grips. It had like 4 rails on it. I just took one off, and it had screws already, so I pre-drilled 2 holes, and I got it on there, and it's working pretty well. The battery inside helps keep the cover from moving because everything's so tight in there. Also, this rubber band keeps it from moving, and I also took the cover and actually put it in the vise and squished it a little bit, so it fits really tight over the receiver. So all that combined, this thing's pretty sturdy, and then when you're running a holographic sight, it tends to compensate for some of that movement. It's not like an optic where everything would just move with the cover. So, and it's airsoft, it's not that accurate. This is a good solution, I'm happy with it. If I end up using this gun a lot, I might buy a rail that replaces the rear sight here, and that's even a better solution because it's mounted to the receiver instead of to the cover. I have the velocity reducer on here, and that replaced this, which was a nightmare to get off because there's a set screw in here, and I believe it's supposed to line up with this notch. However, mine was about a 1/4 inch to the left of it, and I couldn't get to it because there's a rim that goes all around it except for the notch. and I didn't even know it was there, and I did look for it. By the time I discovered it, I had already destroyed most of the threads. I still drilled it out, which I would recommend doing from the start. Then I was able to unscrew it, but you're kind of damaging the flash hider, but better than damaging your threads. I do have two stick batteries. One is an 8.4 volt NiCad, and then I thought, well, let's get a stick. So I got this Matrix generic brand LiPo, which I thought would be great, 11.1 volt. However, this does not fit in there at all, and this is just too weak. An 8.4 for something shooting 420 is going to be a horrible trigger response and rate of fire. I'll show you why these don't work, or why the one works and one doesn't. Pop the cover off. So here's my LiPo. It fits in there real tight, but it prevents this from moving, so you have to set up your hop up before you lock everything down. So this is the 8.4 stick battery, and it barely fits in there. You have to find the right angle. However, my new setup with the screws down here holding the rail on the receiver, those interfere with the battery, and I can't even get in there with that, so that's really not an option anymore. So that's gone, and I don't know why I thought this would work, but this doesn't fit here at all. It's just way too big for this opening on the AK. Overall, I'm happy with the gun. It handles nicely in the backyard plinking, at least. It feels good. It doesn't seem that heavy, and it's going to take a real game to really test it. If you're looking for a modern AK, I think this is a really good option. It's got everything a modern gun needs. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.